Well, hey, mamas, I want to know, does your teen create timelines in history? If the answer is no, your child does not see the value of timelines, if he doesn't like graphic organizers of any kind, I encourage you to stick around. Because as a study skills tutor, I help teens love to learn by teaching them how to learn. And part of that process is figuring out, okay, what kind of tools, what kind of resources do you need to use? And for me, the only way I love history, the only way I can enjoy the class is if I can create a timeline. So stick around with me as I share why timelines, why graphic organizers are an amazing way to help your teen love to learn and really get through that history class in more than a just get through it mentality. So be sure to stick around, hit that like button, be sure to follow, subscribe, no matter if you're here with me on Facebook or on YouTube. So why do timelines help? Well, they're basically an art project, okay? Timelines can be as decorative, as detailed as your child wants them to be, or as boring as your child wants them to be when it comes to pictures and colors and drawing and all those things, okay? The cool thing for me, for other visual learners, is the idea of, okay, I've organized the information. So now this is going to make way more sense because I can see, okay, it's in chronological order. So I'm starting here, I'm going to this point. Oh, wow, this year had a lot of things happening, not only in this one part of the world that we're talking about now, but maybe also several other things happening around the world, or maybe just in this state versus that state. And I got to tell you, when you can see, okay, the teacher's talking about this, but then we also talked about this, and I don't know what these two things have anything to do in common. Well, if we can put it on a timeline and see they happen within months of each other, we get some context. Okay, things start clicking, things start to make sense just because we now, instead of having it on two different pages of the textbook or in very separate chapters of our notes, now it's on a timeline together. Okay, now pictures are going to make a big difference to a lot of students. Okay, so mamas, if your child is like me and is bored to death by history, well, those timelines can be really colorful, they can be really pretty. And the important thing, though, is to focus on the information, not just the details of what color, what pictures, how do I want to make it fancy. Okay, that's not the number one priority, but yeah, at the same time, if finding the right picture, finding the right color to write this in, and then I remember, oh, I wrote this in purple because I really like purple, as you can tell by my shirt. Or maybe, wow, it took a long time to find this picture because there didn't seem to be a lot of information about it. I'm going to connect that search, that picture, that color, that whatever, with that detail, that historical thing I'm supposed to have learned. Now, we've talked a lot about the visual side of things. My kinesthetic learners, they benefit from timelines too because it's very hands-on. The actual act of creating it, if we're cutting out pictures, writing things down, drawing it out, okay? Auditory learners, they have got to listen, okay? So if as they're listening to the teacher and as they're maybe putting things together, they can almost have the recording in their mind that helps, or as they're talking it through as they put together, that's going to help them as well. So now let's talk about graphic organizers. Before I do, I want to say thanks so much for watching. I'm Jessyka Coulter, CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring. If we haven't talked yet, I would love to change that. Be sure to schedule a free consultation at the link down below. When we talk, we're going to figure out what study skills your child is missing to make classes not so fun, to make classes maybe even boring, no matter if it's history or something else. All right, graphic organizers. Let me know, does your team use them? And, is there a favorite? Because there's hundreds of them. All right, we've got T-charts, Venn diagrams. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And honestly, I've created my own. So if you ever want to know about the Big Picture Organizer, that's something available through my Love to Learn program. Happy to talk to you about that during our consultation as well. But the nice thing about a graphic organizer is, again, we get to condense the information. So instead of several pages of the book, lots and lots of notes that your child's hopefully taken, now we can condense it. We can start comparing and contrasting. We can start using those critical thinking skills, and your child only has one place to check to really get the gist of what's happening in history class, okay? Because cause and effect, big deal a lot of times in a lot of classes, but especially in history. And again, question is, okay, you told me about this group of people. You told me about maybe this government. We talked about this part of the world. How does that impact this other part of the world? What does this have anything to do with this other nation, this other law? Okay, whatever it might be. Well, that's when the graphic organizers become very, very handy, because your child has to actually understand the information to put the graphic organizer together, which makes it an amazing study tool. It also helps your teen go, okay, what did I really learn? What did I really understand? And then also really see how these things relate. Are they both pros? Are they both cons? Do they go in the middle of the circle? Are they really just a detail that has nothing to do with anything? Okay. So those are my thoughts for you today. Do know timelines, graphic organizers, an amazing way to help your teen do well in history by understanding that history class, no matter if we're talking geography, U.S. government, world history, whatever it might be. So thank you so much for watching. Remember, I would love to schedule a free consultation with you and your teen. There's a link down below so we can talk about your teen's study skills and figure out how I can help your teen love to learn through study skills. No matter if it's your teen's favorite class that's going well, tell us something's not, or maybe it's like your teen's like me and there's a class your child just can't stand, and we got to figure out how can we help your teen love to learn in that class. So have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Remember, link is down below.